Hi everyone, this is Country Music News International. My name is Nigel Sharpe, and on the other side of the big pond, I'm not quite sure where yet, but we're going to find out in a minute. We've got Jerry and Carly from Crandall Creek.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, it's nice to see you. So where are you?
We are in Moundsville, West Virginia, which is the top of West Virginia in between like Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania and
Mm-hmm.
Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're. I think it's the first time I've talked to anybody in West Virginia.
You're
Okay.
gonna visit.
So
It's beautiful.
it's a world premiere. There we go.
Yeah.
So I've got a few questions for you. And I normally have one or two kind of dumb questions because I'm way over here and you're way over there, and I don't always know everything there is to know about the people I'm talking to.
That's fine.
So the first question is, what and possibly where is Crandall Creek?
Crandall Creek is actually a stream that I love to fly fish out near Yellowstone National Park.
Right.
I was out of music for 37 years. I didn't even look at a guitar. And then I kind of got pulled back into this through songwriting, but I never intended to have a band. In fact, I always said I would never be in another band. And as I started writing, some other people got involved and we started playing a little bit. And they said, "So what are you going to name your band?" And I just come back from Yellowstone. And I said, "Well, I'm not going to name it anything because I'm not going to have a band." And they said, "But if you had to name it, what would you?" And I just fished Crandall Creek the day before I came back. And I said, "Why just call Crandall Creek?" Well, somebody heard that and it stuck. And the next thing you know, I hear people talking about Jerry Andrews' band Crandall Creek. And I said, I don't have a band. I'm not in a band. Well, evidently I was in a band. And here we are.
Well, you certainly are now. So
That part.
Yellowstone National Park, that's not exactly next door to West Virginia, is it?
No, that's 1,781 miles northwest of here.
There you go. It's a long walk.
Clear across the country.
Yeah.
Every time he's been there, he's been attacked by bears, and
Trouble with grizzlies almost every time I was
that's why he
there.
doesn't have any hair. He always
That's it.
take it off.
Yeah.
That's it.
I have the same problem, Jerry. It's where I'm
Yeah.
wearing a cap. It's got nothing to do with bears, though, I can tell you.
Yeah.
I was also looking on your website because I thought, okay, so who is actually in this band? And I'd watched some videos on YouTube and looked at the website. And there's this nice picture of 6 people, but only 5 individual pictures of band members. So how many people are actually in the band? Is it 5 or is it 6?
It's actually neither. It's 5 right now.
Okay.
4.
Well, it depends. So I joined the band. So Dustin, we call him Slim. He's the skinny guy. He's our banjo player.
Yeah.
He's the best, like a brother to me. And he's been with the band for 6 years since the beginning.
Yep.
Also Kathy Wigman Lesnock, the blonde that you see, she's been with the band since the beginning. And then what happened is last year there was kind of a restructuring of the band that went forth because the bass player was getting married and graduating. The singer, Anna, was getting married and graduating. And so they lived pretty far away. So I was working with the same producer that Crandall Creek works with. And he called me one day, actually, while I was waiting for a banjo player to show up to my house. And he called me and he said, "Have you ever thought of joining a bluegrass band?" And I said, "Well, funny you should ask. I'm waiting for a bluegrass player to show up to my house. If he doesn't show up, I'll call you back." And he never showed up. So it was funny. My mom had made him dinner and everything. So by God's graces, this man didn't show up. And I called my producer back and said, "Set up a meeting." And when I went in, it was Jerry, Kathy, and Dustin in the studio. And then a week later, Jerry was there's a theater by us called the Strand Theater in Moundsville.
Yeah.
And Jerry went down there to check out the sound. And the sound guy said, "Do you need anything else?" And Jerry said, "Yeah, bass player." And he said, "Well, I'm a bass player." And that's how we got Sav, who is the little blonde man that always wears a toboggan.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure the last person you're looking at is probably Steve.
Yeah, absolutely.
Player. Yeah, he actually just lives really, really far from us. So he's been doing like the far away gigs, but then he had long COVID and it ended up really taking him out for a while. So
yeah, Steve's actually not part of the band any longer.
Yeah. So it's us 5.
Yes.
Right. Now, the other thing I've been doing, especially today, is listening to the music. And actually on my other screen here, I've got on Spotify the latest album, Ain't Love Something, with all of your kind of most recent releases, Just 18 and Molly Burns. And like I normally do, I like to listen to these songs and kind of pick a favorite. And it was really difficult. I really couldn't actually pick out one song and say, okay, that's it. That is, my song.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what I kind of came up with, and I don't know if you have any comments to make. So I thought in terms of kind of song structure, I thought Just 18 is probably the best song on the album.
I would have to agree with that. Am I allowed to give that opinion?
Sure, you absolutely can.
I love that song so much.
I wrote it as an accident. I sat down to work on another song that we cut with Shannon Slaughter, and that's a song I wrote, and I was supposed to be working on that song, and I really didn't want to sing it.
He was procrastinating.
I really did, because he's such a phenomenal singer, and I didn't want to have to sing and follow him up. So I was just doodling around on guitar, and this Just 18 just fell out of my guitar, totally, completely unexpected. And that's the same song that we just won Video of the Year at the Josie Awards at the Grand Ole Opry, and that's the song that was in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to come to the Josie Music Awards in a minute. I'll just stick with the album still. Another song, Love the Thrill. This for me is kind of like classic bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of up tempo, really gets your feet tapping away. And, as a musician myself, you want to sing along, you want to play along, you want to get involved. So I really enjoyed that. And the very last track on the album, which I thought was the prettiest song of all of them, and that's Don't Cry, Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also got some very nice lyrics. Where does that one come from?
I was sitting in church one Sunday, and our preacher was giving a sermon about what Mary must have been thinking at the foot of the cross, watching her son being crucified. And the cold chills just ran over me, and I couldn't get it out of my head. And these lyrics just kept running through my head. And when I got home, 15 minutes later, it was complete as it stands right now. I never altered it. I never changed it. It just, again, boy, when they hit me, they really hit me. And that one really hit me. That's my wife's favorite song that I've ever written, by the way.
And I haven't even told Jerry this yet, but yesterday was my birthday, and I had dinner with my family at one of the restaurants around here, and the chaplain from Wheeling Hospital came up to me and said that he had heard Don't Cry, Mary.
Oh, really?
And he said he absolutely loved it. So I didn't even get to tell him that yet.
There you go. Let's get to last point I've got on here. Is the Josie Music Awards. Now, I don't really know anything about these, so please inform me.
This year was their 10-year anniversary. It was held at the Grand Ole Opry, which we were just so excited when we found out that it was going to be there just to even be at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, we had 5 nominations.
Yeah. And so basically it's an independent music award show, which helps so many independent artists get out in the forefront and feel recognized. I mean, it was such a wonderful ceremony. Even if we hadn't won, it was like so eye-opening, so interesting. The amount of coverage that they had there. I mean, it's basically like small businesses almost. So like news stations and all of those things, they're up for awards too that have been covering music. So they all descend to the Grand Ole Opry and start interviewing people. And I mean, it was so much fun. But basically it's independent artists that are either signed to no record label or signed to like a self
like Copper Mountain. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we had no idea, our publicist, Penny McDaniel, we would not be where we are without Penny. She is absolutely wonderful person. She's the one who submitted us. And then, but she said, don't hold your breath. It's a little tough to get nominated. Mm-hmm. And then she called all excited and said, hey, not only did you get nominated, you have 5 nominations. And I said, really? She said, for what? And she said, well, you for Songwriter of the Year, and Carly for Best Female Actress in a Video, and the video for Video of the Year, and our band for Band of the Year, and
vocalist.
Yes, Carly for Female Artist, Vocalist. So but when we saw how many people were involved, we didn't go there with any expectations.
Right.
I just wanted to go to the opera.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, I just wanted to go.
Yeah, me too. I've never been to Nashville. So yeah.
Oh, you'll have to come. It's such a great town.
So we're sitting there and they're calling out the Video of the Year. And
we had just sat down in our seats.
We're in the balcony.
I'm eating my pizza. I had taken my shoes off because my feet hurt.
Yeah, and they yelled and they said Crandall Creek for just 18. And Carly jumps up and screams. We all took off trying to get down to the stage to make sure, because we didn't know how much time they give you to get there for an acceptance speech. Carly up with no shoes on.
I didn't have my shoes. I wouldn't have gotten down there in time.
Well, but what happened to the pizza?
Actually, it's funny you should ask, because when we got back, we had about 10 people in our row, and everybody that had anything to drink had spilled when we jumped up. And so the entire show, we were sitting there in like a puddle, soaking wet socks and shoes.
Nobody minded. Everybody in the row that we didn't know were cheering for us.
Yeah.
And that's one of the wonderful things about Josie Music Awards. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you've done, as long as it's good. Mm-hmm. There are no politics involved. There is none of that at all with these awards. It is strictly done on your merit, on what you have done. Mm-hmm. And it was such a refreshing atmosphere. It was wonderful.
Anyway, look, I'm going to bring this to a close. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for taking the time. We appreciate it.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yes. And, wonderful meeting you.
Yes,
well, thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. You take care.
All right. Thanks.
Bye.